It was bad. Like real bad, friends. This month, well, last month, August was the worst month that I have had this year for sure. And even into last year, it's one of the worst months that I have had from a gross perspective. Today, we are looking at all the way down to net, my profit and loss statement. And let me tell you, friends, the net is telling a different picture. So this is why it's really important to really look at all your numbers. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at, what my profit and loss statement is going to look like for the month of August 22. How to run a reselling business, not just that top end gross number, but all the way down to the net. I recently did a video, and I'll link it up here, of kind of how I'm going to get to the 6-figure salary that I did last year. That's a gross number. And I had a lot of people say, hey, but what about net? That's what really matters. And that's why I do these videos every single month, showing you, yes, that gross is nice. That's where it starts. But what is my net doing? And my net is definitely painting a different picture. It was the worst month on a gross revenue, even down from last year. It was bad. But my net year over year is up 13%. And this is because my cost of goods is decreasing. We'll get really into the numbers and show you what's happening here. And if you've been following my channel, you know my cost of goods is going down because I've been changing some strategies. And what that does, even just down $1, can really impact that bottom line. So in today's video, friends, we are going to be looking at my profit and loss. Like I said, I'm going to be starting with my gross and taking out my what comes out first? Shipping? No. Cost of goods comes out first. I'm starting with my gross number. So this includes everything. This is your top number. And then I'm going to be taking out my cost of goods, and then I'm going to be taking out shipping and fees, then my expenses, and then what I am saving for taxes to get you my very bottom number, how much money I actually made in August of 2022. I'm also going to be breaking out my expenses and showing you, hey, here's the expense number. This is what came out from my profit and loss in August, but this is kind of what goes into my expenses, so you can see a breakdown of that, as well as showing you the split out, because I do resell on Poshmark and eBay. However, you're watching me on social media, so I also have social media, I have dashboards and courses, and I want you to really get a full picture of this number that I'm sharing with you, where it's really coming from. It is, we'll see in a minute, the majority is reselling. I am not large on social media to where that's bringing in most of my income, but I'm going to show you that split out as well. If you are new to the channel, before we get into the numbers, just so you know what we're looking at August of 2022. I took the summer off, which essentially means I had enough photos to last me all summer for my virtual assistants to make 8 drafts a day. So I was waking up in the morning, launching 8 drafts, takes me 10 minutes maybe, and then whatever was selling, I was shipping. And so that's what I was doing all summer, taking it off, not working my normal hours. And in August, they started back mid to late August. So I had 2 or 3 days. And then I was actually off at eBay headquarters for the last week of August, not working at all, launching drafts, not even shipping. My store was completely on vacation mode. So this essentially is passive income at this point. I was doing very minimum, but I wasn't not working and doing a lot in August, and we'll see a reflection of that in my numbers. I do have 3. So the reason I don't work is I do have 3 neurodiverse children at home. This allows me the flexibility, and that really goes into me deciding if this is worth it for me, because I get that flexibility with my children at home. I do have digital products, 3 digital products, dashboards, and 2 courses. So some of that is going into this income. I will show the split out. Social media, obviously you're watching me on YouTube. It brings in a little bit of AdSense. Instagram Reels have a program right now that they are paying for Reels, and I'm in that program. It's not a long-term program, I don't think. And then I did just start memberships. So if you guys are interested in supporting this content, you can become a member, and then there's different tiers. The higher up you go, the more exclusive content that you get, exclusive videos, exclusive lives, really a way for me to help people grow on a more personal level, giving more feedback and accountability and lots of stuff. So there is you cannot get it on the phone, which is kind of on the iOS phone. If you are on an iOS phone, you can't get it, but on the computer, I think on Androids and stuff, you can get it as well. There is a join button down below. Virtual assistants, that membership does not go into these numbers because I just started that in September. So just FYI. Virtual assistants, I do have virtual assistants that list, that cross list, that do a lot of social media for me. We will see that come out in my expenses. And then I sell women's clothing, shoes, and purses, mainly a little bit of men's and kids in there. New tag liquidation items I still have. I have quit purchasing those kind of items for like the past year and a half. So it's mainly thrifted bins. You can see behind me, I just bought someone's whole Poshmark closet, mostly used things from them as well. So let's get into it. I know that was a big setup, but I really want you to understand the numbers that we're looking at. August 2022, my gross revenue for the month was $6,517. And I will show you. So this is a Sarah Styles Sales and Trends dashboard. This is one of the products that I sell that you'll see in the numbers, but you can see that's 63% to my goal and nowhere near reseller nirvana. So this is not looking good, friends, like at all, not looking good. However, let's get all the way down to the bottom and then we'll get into maybe at the very end. Actually, I will link a video up here of things that I did to reset my closet or my store on eBay, and they are working. I'm up, so I'm filming this September 16th, so 16 days into the end of August, and my sales are up 40%. So I will link the video up here on what I'm doing. It is doom and gloom to look at. However, I am optimistic, like I said, looking at my net at the very end, and then things are starting to progress upwards as I'm working more. I do have 2,299 available listings on eBay right now. For the most part, everything does move over to Poshmark. I have slightly less listings on Poshmark because I wait about a week on eBay for it to sell before I put it onto Poshmark, because I do have a virtual assistant who does it. So I don't want them putting it on both and then just taking something off right away if it sells quickly. This is 200 items sold. Cost of goods is going to be $1,118. So this is cost of goods sold. This is how much it cost me to sell those 200 items. Not to be confused with how much I spent this month in getting goods and buying an entire closet. This is of 200 items that sold, it cost me $118. That is roughly a $5 average cost of goods. This is down from last year, which was $8. Now it sounds $3 doesn't sound like a big number. However, I thought I had a water. Sorry, friends. It's a lot of talking in these videos. This is down $3 from last year. It does not sound like a lot of money. However, $3 times 200 items is $600 more that I am keeping in selling these items, right? 2.5% returns. So I had of these items, or for the month, I had 2% of items were returned to me. This is pretty low for clothing. All of my returns are, no, that's one. One was an item not as described, which I reported because the item was absolutely the way that it was described. They just did not read it. So technically it was an item as not as described, but that should come off. It was just they didn't read the description. However, clothing, you're going to get a decent amount of. The average on eBay, I think, is around 5% of returns for clothing due to fit. So this just kind of goes into my business model. So I'm pretty happy that it's only a 2.5%. I do have photos of measurements in there so people can see exactly what I'm measuring and see it for themselves. I think that does help a lot. However, I'm a female and the measurements are my measurements. I put it on and it just doesn't fit the same. I totally understand that. So this $5.59 is my average cost of goods, not my hourly. I can see how that might be confusing. So my gross profit was $5,399.69. That makes my margin 82.85% for a gross hourly of $162. Now that's pretty legit. I'm kind of bummed out because I'm having a bad month, but it's still $162 an hour on a high level. We're going to get all the way to the net number, but teaser, full disclosure, it's pretty legit as well too. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this split out is, on a gross level, what the split out is of these numbers. Oh, I always click the wrong one. You guys want to see me smaller and this bigger, right? So the split out is going to be, let's see, Let me move this. Okay, so this is all the revenue incomes that I have. Poshmark and eBay, you can see, are definitely, my reselling business is my main income. I think this is important really to share with my social media following, because I think oftentimes we see some of these big resellers on, and I don't want to call anyone out. Everyone has a different business model. My business model is reselling. As of yet, I am a reseller. I do social media for a very small sliver of, maybe a quarter, maybe not even there, of my income, but reselling is what is bringing in that money. I am not making $1 zillion on social media. I'm doing it to help you. And yes, it does help some of my income, but I am a reseller. You can see here, eBay has been 24%. This has gone up slightly from years past or from months past. And it's not because I'm selling more on Poshmark. It's strictly because I'm selling less on eBay. I'm going to do some videos to really figure out every single month this year, my eBay has been down. My thought on this is, and let me know what you guys think. I'm always interested to hear your perspectives as well. My thought is on eBay, I've been doing all of these things. I have a couple things. One is, it's just the world we're living in right now. People have less extra income to be selling or to be spending. Last year, yes, we've been in a pandemic for a couple of years, but we were getting stimulus, right? We were getting extra childcare checks. We were getting extra support, and that's kind of all gone away this year. And inflation, our grocery bill for a family of 5 has almost doubled. And so that is hard for people to have this extra income. And I think that is really impacting my business. Let me know if you're seeing something similar. When I was at eBay headquarters, this is one of the things that I told to every single person who would listen is we really need to see market data in eBay. I need to see how my categories are performing so I know if it's something that I'm doing or if it's something that is the market, and it's not anything that I have control of, but I need to be doing different strategies if it's the market, as well as buyer behavior. What are the buyers doing? This would really help me be a better business. Fortunately, we don't have that for me to really know, except for speculating that that's what's going on. The second thing that I think is happening, and I'm going to try and do a video on this and really look into it and dig deeper, is I think it's because of what I'm selling, honestly. Like I'm completely okay with taking some of the blame for this. And if you think about what's changed in my business from last year to this year, I was selling pallet new with tag stuff. Granted, my cost of goods was higher. However, was I selling better items? And so they were selling better. I'm going to really look into this and see. I'm selling less items. So I think that probably is part of it on a gross level. However, my net is better. So even though my gross sales on eBay are down, if my net is better, then I'm actually okay with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that little ramble. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But this is my split out. And then you can see Facebook is going, this is actually Instagram Reels. It comes through as Facebook in my business account. And then you have dashboard sales. This is going to be dashboard and courses. The digital products that I sell are 4% of my income for the month. And then social media is going to be YouTube and YouTube. I just have it as social media in case I get paid for other things. And then this little small sliver is going to be affiliates, which is 1%. You can see, obviously, I do not make my business off of pushing affiliates. I do have affiliate links down below for things that I use and I really support because I do use them. Currently, it is not my business model or something that I want to do on my social media. I have yet to do a paid promotion video because I want to really do things from an honest perspective for you. And I feel like if I'm getting paid, there's a little bit of bias there to where I can't be completely honest. However, I do have affiliates. So if there's things that you're like, hey, what does Sarah use? What does she like? They are all linked down below because they're things that I use. And I want you guys to know that I do back them because I use them in my business. So let's go ahead and get over to the expenses part. Shipping and fees. Shipping and fees comes next. Bear with me, friends. It has been a couple months since I have done one of these videos for you. I keep hitting the wrong one. You want me smaller, you want this bigger. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at selling fees. So this is interesting. My selling fees have actually gone up, which has made my net go down a little bit. And this is interesting because you don't always have a lot of control on your selling fees. Poshmark, for sure, you don't. 20% on Poshmark, that's it. you don't have an option. On eBay, you have a little bit more leeway. And in the past, I haven't done a lot. I've done 2% promoted listings. I am a top rated seller plus, so I get a discount on my fees there. And I will say I've done videos on it. Look at my eBay tutorial playlist on returns and shipping. No, returns is probably the thing that puts you over. I do offer returns because it gives me a discount on my selling fees. You can see I'm at 2% returns. I make more money in my net because I get that discount than I end up spending in costs to get those items back to me. Free returns, which means I pay for the returns to come back to me. However, what I did, and I will link a video up above, August, sometime recently, I upped my promoted listings for jeans only. I was looking at my listing quality report, which I will link up above on how to do. Highly recommend looking at this on a monthly basis. But I was looking at my listing quality report and it said, hey, you should really up your jeans to 5%. I said, okay, eBay's recommending this. Let me try it. It did increase my sales of jeans 29%. However, I also had to pay for that, right? I was paying 3% more. My selling fees did go up. So I'm still trying to figure out from a net perspective if it is worth it for me to keep the promoted listings that high. I'm leaning, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't dug deep enough into the data to really figure it out. I'm definitely paying more for it, but it's also giving me more sales. So I really need to dive deep into that category specific and see if it's actually worth it for me. And then you have shipping. Shipping for me is strictly a pass-through. I do a flat rate shipping, meaning that anything under 1 pound costs $5.50. I'm in the middle of the country. I'm in Colorado. And so most places, regardless of where you go, on average, that's about what it cost me. It's basically a pass-through, as well as, anything 2 pounds cost this cost, that's what I mean by flat rate. So it is a pass-through. Shipping for Poshmark. Poshmark pays for shipping. If you offer a shipping discount, which you have to do when you send an offer to someone, then that comes out of my shipping. But the majority of this is actually going to be from eBay shipping fees. And I just want to touch on this real quick. As you're watching and looking at other social media gross numbers, your own gross numbers as well, or other social media gross numbers, keep in mind that includes shipping. A gross number includes shipping, fees, cost of goods. It is your top number. And if you're talking shipping, like I sell clothing, so my shipping's not that expensive, but if you're talking shipping that costs $50 an item, that gross number is going to be very inflated. Not to say that it's not correct, because that is what a gross number means. It just means that shipping is coming out of it and your net's going to be much lower because your shipping cost is a lot higher, if that makes sense. Just wanting you to think about these numbers as you're going through your numbers, or as you're looking and researching and watching other resellers' numbers as well, what that gross number actually entails. So this is going to make my contribution margin $3,269.92, which is about 50. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, friends. Which is going to be 50% contribution margin. If you guys do track your numbers, I am really interested to see how, I don't see these numbers out there often. So I am interested, and if you want to send me a DM because you don't want other people to know your numbers, completely fine. But I'm interested to know how this compares to other resellers. I feel like it's probably similar to other resellers, but I'm really interested if you guys know your contribution margins, your profit margins, any of those numbers. Comment down below if you feel comfortable. If not, send me a DM so we can chat about it, because I'm always interested in other people's numbers and kind of how I compare, if there's things that I could be improving. Expenses. So I am $1,703. These expenses are higher than usual for me. A couple reasons for that is because my virtual assistants had to. So I was launching 8 drafts a day over the summer. Come into September, I went up to 15, and then I was like, that's too much. I can't sustain 15 and do the other parts of my business. And so I went back down to 12. But in order to increase my listings, I have to pay my virtual assistants more. They're working more. And so that increases, and that started increasing. For me to have more listings in September, I had to start paying them more in August to kind of get me those drafts ready to go. The other thing is, and we'll look at the expense split out. Actually, let's scroll down and look at it now. The expense split out. So on here you will see donations. And essentially what these are is, sorry, lots of talking in these videos. So you'll see donations, and what the donations are is I buy something and I get home and I realize it has a hole in it or has a stain, or it maybe isn't comping as good as it, like it's not worth it for me and I can't take it back because I got it at the bins or whatever it is. Or I went through old inventory and things I've had for 3 years, I'm like, I'm just donating these. So those kind of accumulate. You can see on here, donations is the blue. The last time I did donations, I put it into my P&L is in April. So this is really 4 months worth of donations from a back end bookkeeping standpoint. It's easier to do it in a batch. So I track them as I do the donations and then I go in. And when I say I mean my husband does this. Thank you. He does a lot of the back end bookkeeping for me. Amazing. Love him so much. So he goes in every couple months and does it. So you're going to see a big uptick in donations in August. That is going to go into my August expenses. However, those are really every single month, just from a bookkeeping perspective. You can see every single month on here, I have every single month on here, the biggest one is going to be my virtual assistant. Absolutely. I have made a video. I will link it up here. Eventually, I start to run out of links, cards that you can do. So if that can't be linked, I'll link it down in the description as well. But my virtual assistant is absolutely worth it for me. I go through and look at the numbers and show you how to do it as well to see if a virtual assistant is right for you. I also talk about it extensively in my course on how to decide when to outsource, whether it's a virtual assistant for listing or other aspects of your outsourcing. I talk about it extensively in my course. And if you guys want the course for free, if you become a gold member, you actually get both of my courses for free, as well as a couple downloadables, as well as 50% off of all my products, including my dashboard, lots of other features, but the seller course really goes into that, and it's free if you become a gold member. Anyway, so I talk about it really being important for me. Other things that go into this, and I want to mention that these are, we're looking at P&L. This is for tax purposes. These are expenses that my CPA has said, hey, you need to take these expenses. The lower you can get, legally lower, so the IRS agrees that these are expenses for my business, the lower you can get that net number, the less taxes you have to pay, because that's what it comes off of, is that bottom number. So things that go into this, office supplies, List Perfectly. So that is something I am an affiliate for down below if you guys want a coupon code for List Perfectly to cross list. Consignment, I was doing one, I tried out consignment, maybe I'll do a video, but I tried out consignment. It's not for me. We're done. But I did try out consignment. So that comes out of me paying her, comes out of my expenses, phone, internet, electricity, water, trash. These are all percentage because I work out of my house. These are a percentage of what I pay, or we pay for the house, a percentage my CPA has said that we can take. Travel, so I did go to eBay headquarters this month, or in August, and so travel came out of that. Meals and entertainment as well for traveling to eBay headquarters. Marketing, administrative, IT, tech. Those are my expenses. So let's get into the next number, which is going to be, let me bring these down. Profit before taxes. So once you take out cost of goods, selling fees, shipping, expenses, we are at my profit before taxes. This is the number that I am taking my taxes from. So you do want to be really mindful. If you don't track your expenses, I highly recommend it because it makes your taxes lower. So tracking your expenses in a legal CPA approved way definitely makes this number lower so that you're paying less taxes on it. This is a 24% profit before taxes. Like I said, my expenses were really high this month. So this is a little bit lower, but an hourly rate, I'm still at an hourly rate of $50 an hour. Taxes. Before I show you the tax number, I'm just going to quickly tell you a little bit about, I am not a tax expert. This is, do you like my eBay sweater? From going to headquarters. It's so comfortable. I am not a CPA. I am not a tax accountant. What I am about to tell you is not tax advice. This is what I do based off of what my CPA has told me to do. So my tax bracket income, what I save every single month is 20% federal. So this is the tax bracket that we are in for federal taxes, 15% self-employment tax rate. And then I live in Colorado and we have a 5% tax. This is not to be confused with sales tax. Sales tax is a whole different beast, and depending on what platform you're on, most of the platforms collect this for you unless you sell individually. This is one of the reasons that I don't sell privately, because I don't want to deal with sales tax. So that is a 40% tax rate. I say 40% of my profit before tax income for taxes. I will say, because me and my spouse do file together, that I don't always end up paying that because of the withholdings that come from his company and kind of how it all works out. But this is the highest that I will have to pay. And so I do always save it. And then at the end of the year, April, once my CPA does the taxes for me, if I have leftover money, it's like a bonus, right? I would rather have money left over than him be like, oh, you owe all this money, and I do not have it. Highly recommend saving taxes monthly. If you're at a certain level, I do pay quarterly taxes as well. Once you get to a certain level, the IRS is like, hey, we need this money every quarter. So that puts my profit less taxes at $939.87, which is $31 an hour. So my sales were down, but my net is up year over year. So my net is actually down this month, but year over year, right? You take an average year over year, I'm up 13%. And friends, I am still making $30 an hour to not work in August. All right. I was on vacation, not vacation, I was working, but my store was on vacation in August. I was with my children in August. I worked like a full maybe 2 or 3 days. So yes, it is definitely worth it. It was my worst month, but I am still sticking with it. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow my progress. If you want to learn how to make money reselling, consider becoming a member, because you're going to get more exclusive content and you're going to get the courses and the dashboards and all the things that are really going to help you get to that next level. If you like this video, YouTube thinks you'd like this video, I will link a playlist here of how to make money reselling, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button.